she used one jar. Her skin was flawless at 70. Here's what she knew. Picture a woman at a walnut vanity. It's 1957. No serum stack, no 10-step routine. Just one jar of cold cream, a cotton ball, and 2 minutes before bed. She's been doing it the same way since her mother showed her. She will do it the same way for another 20 years. Her skin at 70 is remarkable, not in spite of her simplicity, because of it. I've been sitting with that image for a while now, and I want to share what I found when I started digging into how women of that era actually took care of themselves, because what I discovered wasn't a list of quaint old habits. It was a quiet indictment of everything we've been sold since. 15 tricks today, all of them standard practice in American homes for most of the 20th century. All of them cost pennies, and I'll tell you right now, number 1 has nothing to do with beauty products at all. Stay with me for that one, because I think it might be the most important thing in this entire video. The foundation. One jar does everything. Let's start at that vanity. Every night, women across America massaged cold cream into their faces and tissued it off in long upward sweeps. 2 brands dominated almost every bathroom shelf: Pond's at 35 cents and Noxma with its eucalyptus tingle. 1 cotton ball, 1 pass. The tissue came away gray with the day, and the face underneath was clean, cool, and soft. There's a woman on a collector's forum who wrote about her aunt, 85 years old when she died. Not a single line on her face. 1 jar, 1 step, every night for 60 years. That was the entire routine. And the follow-up to the cold cream wasn't a $60 essence. It was rose water mixed with a few drops of glycerin, sometimes a splash of witch hazel, all poured into a plain glass bottle from the kitchen counter. Rose water calmed redness. Glycerin drew moisture into the skin and locked it there. Total cost, about 35 cents. The average American woman today uses 12 skincare products containing over 160 synthetic chemicals before she leaves the house. Her grandmother used 3. I want you to hold that thought, because we're coming back to it at the end, and what it actually means might surprise you. What was already in the kitchen? Here is something I kept running into while researching this. The kitchen was their laboratory, not the bathroom, not the beauty counter. The kitchen. 1 egg white, whipped stiff and mixed with a teaspoon of raw honey, applied to the face until it dried tight, then rinsed with cool water. The egg white contracted as it dried, smoothing and temporarily lifting the skin. The honey is antibacterial and pulls moisture in. Women sat in the kitchen for 15 minutes with a stiff white face and a magazine, and when they rinsed it off, they looked 5 years younger. Total cost, less than a dime. Fresh lemon juice diluted in water, applied with a cotton pad to dark spots and uneven tone. The citric acid is a mild natural exfoliant, the same active ingredient that now costs $65 in a laboratory dropper bottle. The lemon cost a nickel. Nobody called it an AHA treatment in 1954. They called it a lemon. The chemistry was identical, and then there was Vaseline. 1 tin at 19 cents served as lip balm, eyelash conditioner, eyebrow tamer, cuticle softener, and eye area moisturizer. Hollywood insiders swore Bette Davis applied a thin layer around her eyes every single night. The beauty industry's answer to that 1 tin was to split it into 5 separate products at $15 to $20 each. The ingredient didn't change, the packaging did. A jar of Vaseline still costs under $4 today. That is not an accident. The hair tricks that belonged in the same kitchen. The same logic applied to hair, and the results were just as good. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a cup of warm water, poured through clean hair as a final rinse and left in. It sealed the cuticle completely flat. The shine lasted a full week. The vinegar smell faded in minutes. Nobody could patent it. which was always the problem. For women who wanted volume and body, flat beer, a can of Pabst left open overnight, poured through wet hair and left in. The proteins and B vitamins in the malt coated each individual strand. The result was a shine like polished wood and a weight and movement that no mousse has ever equaled. A can cost 15 cents. Stylists still whisper about it today. And this one went viral on social media 2 years ago, as if someone had just discovered it. Rosemary water, a sprig simmered for 20 minutes, strained, cooled, and massaged into the scalp. Not rinsed out. Modern peer-reviewed studies have since confirmed it. Rosemary has been shown to be as effective as minoxidil for promoting hair regrowth. Your grandmother was doing this in 1952. She grew the rosemary on her windowsill. It cost her nothing but sunlight. The makeup counter, before it got complicated. When it came to makeup, the women of this era weren't working with less. They were working with a system. Max Factor didn't just sell products, he solved a problem. His color harmony guide told you exactly which foundation, powder, rouge, and lipstick belonged together for your specific coloring. Brunette, blonde, redhead, 1 compact, 1 sea sponge, 2 minutes. A complete face with no guesswork. Today, a woman stands in a drugstore aisle facing 300 options with no guidance at all. The global cosmetics industry is worth over $600 billion, and it has never been harder to know what actually works. Max Factor understood something those 300 options don't. A woman doesn't want more choices. She wants the right one. For lashes, the tool wasn't a wand. It was a safety pin from the sewing box. Cake mascara was applied with a tiny wet brush, built up layer by layer, and then a single safety pin was drawn through each lash to separate them. Audrey Hepburn's own makeup artist did exactly this. The result was lashes fanned out like the bristles of a fine paintbrush. Clean, wide, precise. The skill lived in the hands. You watched your mother at the mirror and memorized every move. Number 1. And it was never about beauty. We've talked about cold cream and vinegar and safety pins and rosemary, but I told you at the start that number 1 wasn't really about any of that. Here it is, the lipstick rule. Never leave the house without it. In the 1950s, this wasn't vanity. It was a principle, a tube that twisted up with a satisfying click, applied at the hallway mirror, blotted once on a tissue, touched up after lunch. Elizabeth Taylor wore Max Factor Clear Red. Your grandmother wore whatever Woolworths had in her shade. The brand was never the point. The principle was, because the lipstick rule was a daily act of intention, of saying, I am here, I am prepared, I take up space in this world, and I intend to do it well. That tube cost 50 cents. What it gave her was worth everything. The real difference. Now, remember that thought I asked you to hold. 12 products, 160 chemicals versus 3 simple ingredients and a glass bottle on the kitchen counter. I don't think the real difference was ingredients. I think it was confidence. Her grandmother wasn't searching. She knew what worked. She had learnt it from someone she trusted. She had watched it hold up over decades, and she didn't need an algorithm to tell her she was doing it wrong. That's what we're reclaiming here. Not a simpler time, a clearer one. These women weren't behind. They were ahead. They solved every problem we're now paying $100 a month to solve. And they did it before breakfast. If this brought back a memory, your mother's Pond's jar, the smell of a Tony kit, the click of a compact at the lunch counter, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Those stories deserve to be told. If this felt useful, please give it a like, hit subscribe and ring the bell. We are not done going back, and what's coming in the next video might be exactly what you've been looking for. See you then.